Okay, so how to disassemble and clean an Omas Ogiva cap. Easy part. Alright, so you can't tell from looking at it, but right here before these threads is actually a seam. You can't tell, but it's right there where my thumbnail is. So if you get you something grabby, hold on to the tip, break it. There's a little seal comes loose. Be careful not to strip these little threads. There you go. There's the section off. So right there before those threads. You could clean, flush some water through there. You can't push this part out, although you can pull the feed out the front. All right, next part. Twist your plunger for your piston, and then eventually it will screw off the end. Set that aside. Now you got your piston right in there. Find you something small, and voila, there's your piston. I have a completely empty barrel, piston knob, nib housing, feed, front of the section, and of course the cap. Alright, so before we put it back together, got a little silicone grease. I like to use a toothpick, but anything you want to use. Alright, since we're going through all this trouble, we might as well go ahead and grease the piston up so it's nice and buttery smooth. Remember, a little bit of silicone grease goes a long way. Alright, so there's the piston part. Give the threads a little rub down. Okay, that guy's ready. Alright, I like to take a little bit and put on all the threads so they don't ever bind up. It'll act as a seal too if you ever get any water or ink in your system. Alright, and then the last little bit here. Try not to get any down here near the feed, because I've heard it can clog up your feed. Not for sure on that, but that's what I've heard. Okay. Get a little paper towel. I like to clean off the end of the feed just to make sure we don't have any silicone grease. Alright, now for reassembly, we have to do in a specific order. You gotta put your piston rod back in first before you put on your grip. So, grab this guy, and inside this barrel, let's see if you can see it. Yeah, see there's these two little nubs, one on this side and one on that side. And those go on the sides here and there. So you gotta find out which direction they fit. Slowly but surely insert it in. There's a little wall right there. So you can just kind of twist it and it'll eventually go from here. See, it won't go any further. Twist around and then it'll seat as it falls into that little vein. All right, now this part can be a little tedious. If you hold down with your finger right on the end, you won't get very much, but it will grab onto those piston threads. Let's see if I can, you can kind of see it if you're in good light, but it'll grab them. Yeah, so didn't grab them good enough. So what I like to use is something small and firm and long. This happens to be a Blackwing. And then I put a little bit of pressure on the top of that piston knob. And then, as you can see, there's the top of the piston. And it'll start going down. And once it starts, you're good. And you finish cranking it down. Alright, so right here is the wall. And the piston sitting right on top of it. If, for example, it wasn't, it means it didn't start far enough down. It was too high at the top. You can put a little bit of pressure with like a pencil or something, go up to the top without letting it lose its pressure. As soon as it gets to the top, you'll hear it click. All right, it just basically skipped a thread, and now you could crank it back down. Since I've done it this way, see, I hit that wall, but there's still a little gap. So basically, I've done it too much. So I'll have to let it back out, and I'll do that separately. But after that, screw back on front of your section with your nib, and you're done. It's all cleaned out. It's all lubed up. The threads are all lubed up here. You have a nice clean pen. So that's how you completely disassemble and clean up and lube your threads on an Omas Ogiva. This one happens to be an Alba.